Hello, everyone. Daniel here from the Next Issue Podcast. On today's video, I'll be doing a review for Batman and Robin #2. This is a new book from DC Comics. Let's take a look at the creative team before we get into this book. This book is written by Joshua Williamson with art by Simone Steve Wands on letters, and plenty of variant covers you'll see at the end of the video. In this book, we introduce a new villain, Shush. Introducing Shush. Who does she work for, and how have they turned one of Batman's greatest tools against him? Urban Jungle continues as the father and son dynamic duo are on the deadly case, but first, Damian must deal with his first day of school. Um, I mean, I really like the premise of this book. I want Damian and Bruce to have a semblance of a normal relationship, or as normal as it can get for them. I do like that they are living together. Now, I will say, uh, I'm trying not to compartmentalize this book with the some of the other stuff that's going on in the Batman universe, because obviously there's a lot of stuff going on with the Gotham War, so I'm trying to keep this a little bit separate. I don't know exactly if this takes place before or after, or like sometime around whatever. So that being said, I like the story. I like these urban jungle characters, like these animal type villains. I like this. The introduction of a new villain is always fun, especially when it's somebody that is maybe an homage or just a reference to one of Batman's greatest villains, Hush. So I think that's going to be really interesting to unfold that mystery. So now let's talk a little bit about the art. I am a big fan of Simone art. I did talk about last issue, and this is something that I kind of bumped up against a little bit again, because how stylized Simone art is, how he has a very unique color palette. Sometimes I run up against not knowing exactly who the characters may be, especially when we get a flashback here in the past. Like this is probably the somebody like I would like to have recognized who Damian's talking to here in the League of Assassins immediately. I think, but because it's so stylized, it took me a second to try to get there. Right. Same thing with some of the other sequences as we fight. Like all the fights look great and very dynamic, but the art is so stylized sometimes that it is a little bit difficult to pinpoint like if it's supposed to be a character that's already been established, or maybe just Simone take on a specific character. But that being said, it's not too big of an issue, especially when we get super cool stuff like this. Just like in this one, Batman's still being chased by all the bats because of what happened on the first issue. So make sure to go back and read that if you haven't yet. And of course, Damian trying to help him. I really want Damian to have his spiky hair. I feel like to me, this feels a lot like Tim Drake once again. So yeah, I think there's some choices that are not my favorite, but overall, I still really enjoy the book. I like these new villains. I really enjoy Simone art. It's great. I just think in this context, it needs a little bit more. It's a little bit jarring for me in this context. That's the only thing. But overall, once again, I'm really hooked on this series. So I can't wait to see what happens next. How we develop this new villain, and also how some of the other villains react, because we definitely have, as you'll see, some covers with Killer Croc, and so how does he play into the story? What's going to happen there? So if you have been reading this issue, let me know what you thought about it down in the comments. As always, thank you for watching, everyone. Remember to share, like, subscribe, hit the bell so you know when we go live. That is most Saturdays, 10 a.m. Central Standard Time. Stay tuned. We have more comic reviews, trailer reactions, TV recaps, all that fun stuff here in the channel. Thanks for watching, everyone. Bye-bye.